Genetics by Susana Peláez
and Laura Arango, Class 7-2.
Introduction. In this video, we're going to talk about Mendel and his experiments. Also, we're going to give definitions and examples of the vocabulary that you need to know to understand the Punnett squares.
Gregor Mendel. He was an Austrian monk who performed experiments that helped answer questions about the basic understanding of genetics. Mendel studied genetics by doing controlled breeding experiments with pea plants and developed the theory of domain and recessive traits.
Mendel defines some concepts as allele is a different form of a gene. Gene is a strand of DNA or RNA that determines a certain trait. Trait, a characteristic that an organism can pass on to its offspring through its genes. Organisms receive one allele from each trait from each parent, thus you have two alleles from each trait. Here are two examples. There are two alleles, one from mom and one from dad. They have both blue eyes, so they are homozygous. So the trait will be to have blue eyes. And here is another example. One is from dad and one is from mom. But they are different. So they are heterozygous. So the trait will be to have brown eyes.
Dominant describes a trait that is expressed or dominates over another trait form of that trait. Recessive. An allele that is masked or not expressed when a dominant allele is present, or genetic factor that is blocked by the presence of dominant factor. Example: black fur is dominant to gray fur on mice. In two black mice mate, at least part of the offspring will have black fur. If there are heterozygous for black, though, that when a brown mouse offspring may be possible, but there will always be more black offspring than brown offspring. So the 75% will be black, and the other 25% it will be gray. Genotype. An organism's genetic makeup or allele combinations is the internal coded, inheritable information carried by all living organisms. Phenotype. An organism's physical appearance or visible traits. Example: genotype breast cancer, phenotype blue eyes, white skin, etc. Genotype is T that is pure tau and T that is hybrid tau. Phenotype is the external appearance of tau people.
Homozygous, an organism that has two identical alleles for a trait. Heterozygous describes an organism with two different alleles for a trait. Humans contains two copies of each gene, one from the father and one from the mother. If a mutation occurs in just one copy of the gene, then the individual is considered heterozygous. Example: capital B and lowercase b. The dominant allele will be expressed. On the other hand, if both copies of a gene are mutated, then the individual is homozygous genotype. Example: two capital B's or two lowercase b's. The total allele is represented with a capital T, while the short allele is represented by a lowercase t. The genotype T represents the homozygous condition, while T represents the heterozygous condition. Both T and capital T and lowercase t will reproduce the tall phenotype. The TT genotype represents the homozygous recessive condition and will produce the short phenotype. First law of Mendel, dominance. A dominant allele produces the same phenotype in heterozygous and homozygous. The capital A represents color yellow, and the lowercase a represents the color green. All generations are yellow because capital A is dominant. Segregation. During the formation of gametes, eggs or sperm, the two alleles responsible for a trait separate from each other. Alleles form a trait and then recombine at fertilization, producing the genotype for a trait of the offspring. Also, it is a combination of heterozygous, and it gives 75% with a trait and 25% with another trait.
Independent assortment. Alleles on different chromosomes are distributed randomly to individual gametes, and two individuals cross out with two different characteristics. The example will be straight hair, and the other characteristic it will be curly hair, or also blue eyes with brown eyes.
My mom is heterozygous because of her curly hair, and my dad is also heterozygous because of his straight hair. So what is the possibility to have a curly hair? So the capital letter T is straight hair, and the lowercase t is curly hair. So there's a 25% to be curly hair and 75% to be straight hair.
My mom is homozygous recessive for her blue eyes, and my dad is also homozygous dominant for his green eyes. So here there will be 100% that me and my brother will have green eyes.
My mom is heterozygous because she's right-handed, and my dad is also heterozygous. So, what are the possibilities to be right-handed? The R represents right-handed, the capital R, and the lowercase left-handed. So there's 75% to be right and 25% to be left-handed. My mom is heterozygous because she's right-handed, and my dad is also heterozygous. So, what are the possibilities to be right-handed? The R represents right-handed, the capital R, and the lowercase left-handed. So there's 75% to be right and 25% to be left-handed.